and Brownie, the podcast.
Good morning, Melbourne. Welcome to your Tuesday.
Morning, welcome to your Tuesday. A busy day, busy night last night. I wanted to sit down and watch Warnie with Lee Sales into Christine Swan.
Yes.
Would I lie to you?
Yeah.
And then instead Bam Bam decided to fall off his scooter
Bloody hell.
at the skate park.
What time was this? God, that is
Mate, it was the
annoying.
last drop-in. He's dropping into the bowl the last time. That would have been about 4:45. I said, righto, we're going home.
It's the worst time for them to hurt themselves, and they always do it then.
Anyway, so off to the hospital. Spent a few hours there. But, gee, I was pumping the fist, though, when I went into the x-ray room.
Yeah.
I've seen plenty of scans over the journey.
Yes.
Swanee. Did I pump the fist when there was no lines through that wrist of his?
Fantastic.
But then, just a couple of hours later, I'm going,
Can we wrap this up,
So
Doc?
the nurse, I'm not going to tell you how to do your job, but
I will.
I know his wrist's not broken.
Yeah.
Can you just give us clearance? I just want to go home.
How many minutes between then and you hitting the Hilux?
It was probably about 28 seconds.
That is hysterical.
We've got out there quick. A quick Happy Meal on the way out. Doesn't a Happy Meal fix everything?
Yes.
Bam Bam was brand new by the time we got home.
Absolutely.
Bam Bam choose the toy or the book?
He was pumped about the toy.
The toy is
He's a
really
toy
good.
operator.
It's a Hungry Hippos game at the moment.
He was happy
Mini
about it. So
Hungry
there's
Hippos.
my night last night, just quickly.
God. Tony Martin's coming in. Swanee, it's International Women's Day.
It sure is, ladies. Love yourself today. Love yourself sick.
Chrissie, Sam and Brownie.
It's time to make up for missed holidays with whatif.com.
Booked a spa, suite, jet skis, maybe even a safari. Plus, select hotels are fully refundable. Booking cancellation windows apply.
What if it's Aussie for travel?
Check government advisories before booking and travelling.
Melbourne, good morning. Ocean, pool, hot tub, or all of the above. Make up for missed holidays, all those ones we missed, with whatif.com. What if is Aussie for travel.
I love it when you find out that your house has had a tawdry or interesting history before you moved in.
Yeah.
13 24 10, if your house was the site of anything untoward. We want some juicy ones here.
Hell yes.
My friends just moved into a house and it's in Paran and beautiful house. You walk in and you just think, oh, nothing bad's happened here.
Yeah.
Turns out very quickly the neighbours were on her case to inform her of the history of the house.
They love it.
Yes.
So it's been rental for a while, okay, which is good in terms of stories because the turnover is far greater than if you're buying and selling. The previous tenants, so not the ones just before my friend, the ones before that,
Yes.
right? Was a couple and they hit a bit of a rough patch and one of them moved out, broke up, left the house. Now, the house is beautiful and quite expensive. So in order to make the rent, the partner that was left started to deal drugs out of the front room. And the neighbours were like all times of the day and night. People were coming to the house. Eventually there was a big raid.
I wonder if she put her shoes up on the power lines.
Oh, I haven't checked.
Have a look out the front.
Is that still a universal sign of you can get some drogas here?
Not sure. Dino?
I don't know. No, I don't know. Is that a thing? The shoes on the pallet?
I think it might be an urban myth.
Right.
I think it might be. But, that is what happened. And now she's there with, a young kid and her mum's living there. Like, it's very, very nice and suburban. But I'm wondering if at any point someone shady's going to knock on the door.
Yeah.
Asking questions.
So you got a couple of debts.
Yeah,
fulfill.
that's it. 13 24 10. Has your house had a history?
This is the Chrissie, Sam and Brownie podcast.
I reckon something's happened at your big old house.
Well, someone turned up the other day, Swanee, with a history of, her great-grandfather was the architect and built the house.
Wow.
But there was no sort of history. I've got a phone number. I'm going to give her a call.
Even
See
that
if
is
anyone's
interesting.
been murdered in there or selling drugs out the front like this house.
Yes, my friends moved into a house and the tenants, two before her, hit some hard times and turned to drug dealing, which, is inventive, I guess.
Little cottage industry out the front of the house in Paran.
They could have broken the lease and found something more affordable, but why would you when you can turn the front room into a meth lab?
It's a nice area.
Michael from Doreen, what's your house with history?
Well, we bought a house over in Perth in Rockingham, but it was set up really weird because the garage was cut off in half with a steel door with a deadbolt to go into the one half of it. And one of the back bedrooms, and it's the only room in the house that had mirrored tinted windows. But even more funny was who puts an exhaust fan in the bedroom?
Interesting.
That is interesting.
There's something growing in there, I would have thought, Michael.
Yeah, and not only that, the actual house didn't have a normal air conditioner. It had an industrial, massive, huge reverse cycle aircon.
So what were your theories with all of these weird factors?
Well, we sort of figured that the back bedroom was where they were growing the stuff. And the big industrial, reverse cycle aircon was cooling the house down to keep the heat from it away. And he was dealing out of the front of the garage where the great big steel deadbolt door was.
Absolutely.
I mean,
That's where the supplies were.
That's a very
that was front of house.
It's a very professional outfit.
Yeah, that's no rinky-dink.
No, and you would think, I don't know, is it just me? If I was a drug dealer,
Yes.
I would have dismantled all that before I sold the house. Remove the evidence. But no, this guy's just gone on his merry way.
What about the electricity supply?
Yeah, well, they had that. They had the
three-phase?
Set up really weird, so that all the on-peak times were where you would normally have the off-peak time.
That is so funny. Did you ever get any sort of odd knocks at the door?
No, but we did have the occasional person jumping the fence.
Well, very sus.
Yes.
Very sus.
Well, it was in Perth, do you know?
Yeah, what street was it on, Michael?
A few years
What
ago,
street?
Michael?
You know what street it was on.
Yes, I
Dino.
do, yeah. Okay, you're in the draw for first class and 50K. Let's go to Catherine.
That's
What do
a
you
great
got?
story. Catherine.
Good morning, Tim. How you going?
Hello,
Yeah.
beautiful. What happened at your place?
So we moved into this house in Gembrook about 10 years ago now. I was about 10 when we moved in, and it was a beautiful house, 100 years old, had a lot of potential. There was a lot of odd things that I think I was a bit too young to understand at the time. But we were cleaning up the house, and my dad and his friend went under the house, and they saw this box, and they, dusted it off, went to pull it out, and it had explosives written on the front of it.
Yes.
God.
So we've gone into a panic. He's come inside. We called the police, and the bomb squad have rocked up, half a dozen police officers. We've been evacuated to the front paddock. After about an hour and a half, they said it's all right. It was just beeswax.
They come in the full outfit, the full bomb squad outfit, like
Everything. Lights, sirens. Like we got taken all the way out to the front paddock, and they were just sitting there talking to us like a normal conversation, then came back an hour and a half later.
Did they have to
So
get like
it's
a
all good.
robot to go in, or did a person go in?
I'm pretty sure it was a person. I mean, I was 10 at the time, but there was so many stories. They believe that there was a cult living there at one point.
Now we're talking.
Really?
Catherine, you could win first class and 50K, you lucky
I
duck.
just have to say, I remember in Lethal Weapon when they call for the bomb squad and
Yeah.
Riggs
Yeah.
would always go in and try and dismantle the bomb before the bomb squad got
Look, Riggs, the pros are coming. You've got a family.
No, I've got this. I've got this, said Riggs. I think Catherine's right. There was a big cult in the 70s and 80s in that area. I think called The Family, and they all dyed their hair
really?
Blonde?
white blonde.
That ring a bell, Catherine?
Oh, something like that. And there was something really weird, like a satellite dish in the ceiling, some like ET funny-looking thing as well.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Julia from Lilydale. Julia, who used to live in your house?
Well, I bought this house and it had been rented out for like 22 years or something. So there was a lot of things needed doing to it. Anyway, I was out in the garden. Every time I was out in the garden, a neighbour would walk past and say, "You know who used to live in this house?" And I'd say, "Oh, yeah, that's a drug dealer." And I'd say, "Oh, yeah." And they'd say, "Oh, no, a criminal used to live in this house." And I'd say, "Oh, yeah." Anyway, the final blow came when this woman says to me, the only neighbour who in the street who hadn't spoken to me, and she said, "Oh, you know who used to live in this house?" And I said, "Oh, yeah." I was telling my parents, I thought it was quite a joke, actually. And I go, "Oh, yeah." I go, "Oh, yeah." She goes, I said, oh, yeah, who used to live in this house? And she said, you know the guy who won that singing competition with the big hair?
Shannon Knoll.
And I go, Guy Sebastian. And she goes, yeah, that's him. And she goes, yeah, he lived here with his family. And I go, all right, no worries, thinking everyone's bloody loopy in this place.
Yeah.
Anyway, so a week to the day, I get a postcard to Mr. and Mrs. Sebastian.
Oh,
and I enroll my daughter into the local Lilydale Primary School, and they've got a wing there saying Guy Sebastian came to this school.
Wow, man.
Really?
But they're God-fearing people. They're not drug dealers.
No, but before, the house had been rented out for many, many years.
Oh, right.
Yeah, and I even had I had the roof redone, and the guy who came to do the roof, he said, he was older then, but he said, when he was younger, he said, I used to buy drugs in this house. And I said, you're joking me.
Oh, my God.
Hey.
That's got some history.
Yeah.
The
From the
AFP,
sublime to the ridiculous.
the AFP should have a look at Sebastian. I think.
Yeah, dig deeper.
Ever wanted to offer the team some direct feedback? Well, you can. Shoot us an email at breakfast@nova100.com.au to be part of Chrissie, Sam and Brownie's mailbag.
Christine,
Talking footy.
it's more a bit of sport. But,
Talking sport.
Yeah, that's it.
a little mixture, Swanee. So, Warnie's autopsy came back, died of natural causes, so nothing untoward. That includes heart attack. When I read natural causes, hang on a minute, he's had a heart attack, but I think that's under the definition of natural causes,
Yes.
Christine.
Yes.
But bizarre scenes, though, when if people haven't seen it,
Have you seen this, Dino?
No.
bizarre footage. So, Koh Samui's obviously an island, so you've got to get the ferry back.
And that's
so
where he passed away.
the ambulance has, obviously there was a bit of a cavalcade on the way to the ferry following the ambulance with Warnie's body in there, and they go onto the ferry, and then this German woman,
So you'd imagine it's a very official,
very official.
it's somebody, it's a body. This is official government business,
Yeah.
It's amazing. It's obviously the people that have been travelling with Warnie, they're going back there in the upstairs part of the terminal, the passenger part. It goes on, and then this lady, Barbara from Munich, this German lady who lives in Koh Samui, has lived there for the last couple of years. She just asked the Thai officials if she can just go and pay her respects to Warnie's body. So she walks on with a bouquet of flowers. They lead her to the ambulance.
It's a minivan.
A minivan, and then they open the van and allow her inside the minivan with Warnie's body.
And then they close the door.
Then they close the door.
That's bizarre, right?
It's
bizarre.
bizarre.
Do you think she sort of convinced them that she was supposed to be there?
Yes.
Well, somehow
It's as
it
simple
must
as
have,
that?
because, and then she was, so police questioned her after it, once it sort of all blew up, and she said she was just a big fan. She just wanted to pay her respects to the great man.
Jesus. Wow.
Yeah, I didn't know cricket was big in Germany, but she obviously knew, and that's Warnie was a global superstar. But it's
So
bizarre.
Barbara
scenes.
from Munich gets
Barbara
to go
from
into the
Munich.
camper van and lay a wreath on. I just couldn't believe my eyes when I
Couldn't
saw the
believe it.
footage.
So it certainly wouldn't happen in Australia. Can you imagine that happening in Australia, Swanee?
No, I cannot imagine that happening in Australia.
Anyway, they've been cleared. The authorities have been cleared. They said there's nothing untoward, nothing illegal about that, and Barbara didn't do anything wrong.
Most unusual.
This is before the autopsy as well.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So weird.
It's so weird.
So weird. Anyway, the kids, moving on, Warnie's kids had made a beautiful tribute, or gave a beautiful tribute. Letters in the Herald Sun today.
Beautiful.
From the kids and from his family. They're beautiful to read, very touching. Yesterday morning, we're having a meeting, and Big Maxie Gorn walked into the building.
He sure did.
boy.
He's looking fit.
Jesus, he's like a greyhound.
He is strong.
It's been announced, Swanee, last night that the Melbourne Leaders will continue in the current format. Maxie's captain and the vice captain is Jack Viney. But tell you what he does, he looks fit and hard.
He does. Hard as a cat's head.
So hard. They've had a big pre-season, the boys. Gold Coast beat Geelong last night. They actually looked all right, the Gold Coast, the GC. Nathan Kruger, he's an interesting one for us. So a couple of suspensions. Braden Maynard for Collingwood, 2 weeks. But Nathan
What
Kruger...
for?
it was a bit of a roundhouse, a bit of a reckless spoil, Swanee.
Okay.
2 weeks. My man Brad Scott's now in charge of the AFL. Mm-hmm. He'll be watching closely, Swanee. I think there's going to be some very clear direction, Swanee, with rules and I think with some tribunal hearings. One of
No
them...
bullshit for Scotty.
Not tribunal hearing.
a tribunal. And no and Walter, my man Walter, he's very consistent. So Walter Scott, that's his middle name.
No.
Brad Walter Scott. One of the great middle names.
One of the greats.
Anyway, Nathan Kruger for Collingwood, new recruit. He went for a ball with Callan Ward, the GWS player, and they clashed. And just at the last minute, he tucked himself up to protect himself and got knocked out himself. However, he received 1 week suspension, Swanee.
Why?
Well, because he got suspended for the action. So, obviously the AFL, what they don't like the fact if you're going for a ball and then the last second you try and protect yourself when it's a bang-bang situation. So instead of the players getting, normally...
Isn't it like an involuntary reaction, though?
Yeah, I know, but...
It's like putting your hands out when you fall.
Yes.
You've
But I
got
know,
no control over
But they're
that.
trying to encourage the players to keep their eye on the footy the whole way. They don't want players tucking up. So even though he did damage to himself, Swanee, they're penalising the action, not the result, which in previous regimes, they've been penalising the result of the action, not the action itself.
Yeah.
Which to me, it makes more sense to penalise the action. So a bit stiff, he would have woke up a bit groggy and gets a week suspension.
Yeah.
So that's
You think that
that's
would
an
have
interesting
been
one.
punishment enough?
Absolutely, haven't seen that in the past. Anyway, to finish off,
Yes.
I'm going to make a prediction.
Okay, here we go. We got
Waves.
This is not just because Voss is coming in.
Or Mystic. Have we got Mystic vibes?
Well, this is a bit of
Sure,
Mystic.
absolutely.
Mystic Brownie. The top 8. There's going to be 2 changes in the top 8 from last year.
Yes.
Okay.
Jonathan.
Richmond and Carlton will re-enter September.
Yes.
They'll play in September. I just want this on the audio record.
Carlton. Okay.
That means, Swanee, 2 teams have to eat shit.
Yeah. And,
And those 2 teams are
Yes.
Sydney,
Yes.
really?
even though Buddy's about to kill his thousands, and Essendon. Which may be against the grain of what
They
a lot
just
of
got
experts
there.
think.
Clip it
I
up.
know
Clip it up. We'll be referring to this for the rest of the year.
They didn't beat anyone last year.
Yeah.
They beat Western Bulldogs once, and all the rest of the sides are bottom teams.
What about St Kilda? Are they going to make the
No,
Eagles?
no.
Come on, man.
eight? Wow, that's harsh.
Chrissie, Sam, and Brownie.
The podcast.
Oh, good morning. Jonathan Brown and I just
Deep in conversation.
crabbing on about parenting woes. You wouldn't know anything about that, of course, Sam Pang.
I wouldn't, and also I tell you what, there's only something I care less about
Yes.
in this world than
I know.
say my parenting. Other people's. Do you see how much I engaged in
Yeah.
whatever the crap you were
Well, you
talking about?
engaged.
I had no interest at all.
You
I
engage a
know.
lot in my parenting because it does affect your golf game.
It does.
It's amazing, Swanee. The
No
amount
one
of time-
cares more about his parenting than
Actually,
you.
true. I've never been. Yeah, you're right. I'm going to completely because the amount of times that someone's baseball or someone's tap dancing or someone's magic classes are, they're usually Coles, by the way. But I think your kids are. Just
get it.
get them out of my life.
I know.
They're not mine.
Bam Bam had me at the emergency ward last night too.
Bam, bam.
What a
Can you
surprise.
imagine?
Mate, just the final drop in at the skate park
Nothing
last
worse.
night. Bang, over he goes. I went, oh no.
Mate, he comes in like
Kidding
he's...
me.
He come into the emergency ward like he was Norm from Cheers. Would you like me? Bam, bam. Little Jackie Brown's back.
Jack, what have you done today?
And wasn't the vending machine all of a sudden hit? Yeah, once he spotted the vending machine.
What, did he try to headbutt it? Did he? What, did he run into it?
He spotted
Mate.
that real quick early on. So
Jonathan turned
what did
around
I cop
and
for
he-
the next 3 hours? Just vending machine request.
Yeah, Jonathan turned around and he was holding it, putting it into the back of the Hilux.
Just back up the truck when he did.
God. Vossy's coming up. Everyone's saying Blues are going to win the flag. Blah, blah, blah.
This is a good year for you, Samuel.
It's March. They haven't played a game yet.
Now,
Swanee.
you just said off air you've got some sizzle.
After this,
The return of Salty Vic.
Oh, my God, it's my
If you don't know what it is, just stick around.
Ever wondered what happens in the studio? Check out Chrissie, Sam and Brownie on Instagram. Look out at Salty Vic.
Salty Vic.
Here comes Salty Vic.
Here she comes. I just want to preface this with
Absolutely.
Victoria is our producer, one of our producers, our amazing, hardworking, talented producers.
Brownie calls her his assistant.
Yeah, wrongly calls
Yeah.
her his assistant, but she is the kindest, most low-key person, has never said a bad word about anybody.
No, she's universally regarded as just kind-hearted and sweet.
Just
and
not a bad bone in her body. Not a bad bone in her body.
There's some toughness in there. Don't worry about that.
I think the strongest she ever was one time where she put up a guest and then we didn't really answer, Jim, and we went around and around and just, doing silly jokes or whatever, and then she just stood there and go, so that's a no? I go, whoa, settle down, Vic.
I remember that very well.
A bit of spice there. But, so every now and then, though, we think, like Brownie said, that it's a front and then she's actually quite salty. Well, the idea of Vic being a bit salty amuses us no end. So
say hello, Vic.
Hello.
You're here.
Oh, sorry. Look at that. He's so polite, just waiting for me to waffle on, going nowhere. So let's just get to it. So we want to just bring the character of Salty Vic to the airwaves, and I think Chrissie.
What we wish that she would say.
Well, I don't know. It
I would
depends
love
how this
it.
is going to go.
Yeah,
There's a little bit of fire in some of this stuff. I think you never know when she flips the switch and turns salty, it can get ugly. So Swanee, you can start us off.
Hey, Vic, I'm getting some apples delivered. Do you mind keeping an eye out for them?
Oh, God, no problem at all, Your Majesty. Why don't we go a step further and pretend you're a horse, I'm a trainer, and I'll feed them to you. Would you like that, numbnuts?
Jeez.
It's the touch of numbnuts.
Numbnuts.
And then
Also
looking straight to Sam, like, how did I go?
That was good.
Did you think that was good?
Yeah.
Well,
Because normally, how would it go? I'd say, hey, Vic, I'm getting some apples delivered. Do you mind keeping an eye out for them?
Yeah, I'll be there.
Sure.
yeah, I'll
Sure,
be there.
that's normally how it goes.
Yeah.
Really, it's a beautiful delivery too. Didn't rush that at all.
Numbnuts for me.
Yeah,
numbnuts
numbnuts.
is good. All right, so Vic, as of course Swanee said, you're our producer, also you get our guest. So Vic, any chance of booking Russell Crowe on the show? It's the 25-year anniversary of an underrated little action film he made called Heaven's Burning, and I'd love to chat to him about it.
Russell Crowe. Oh, God, sure, no problems. I'll punch him a text. Better yet, let him ring me. Wait. This is what.
Fire up!
Okay.
No, I'll do it. So
Who wrote this?
Any chance of getting Russell Crowe on the phone?
Russell Crowe. Oh, sure, no problems. I'll punch him a text. Better still, let me ring him on my imaginary phone. Ring, 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 ring. Hello, Rusty. It's Vic. Sam Pang wants to speak to you about some niche art house piece of crap you made 25 years ago. Be in the studio by the end of today's show, or I'm going to tear you a new asshole. Click.
Click.
Oh, I like it.
Jesus Christ, this is so. You're so.
Click.
How are you getting more adorable? You're supposed to be terrifying.
So
You're supposed
great.
to be.
That was better pace.
Oh, magnificent.
Well, Victoria, as my assistant, I wanted to congratulate you on letting those two have it. They deserved it. Well done.
Now get this, you giant brick with ears. You call me your assistant one more time and I'll unleash hell. I'll take a flamethrower to that Toyota Hilux of yours. Are we clear, Metalhead?
Oh, jeez. That's a return.
I said, are we clear?
Yes, Vic.
Yes,
Yes,
Vic.
Vic.
Yes.
Yes,
How good does it feel?
It does.
Yes.
Oh, I don't know.
I'm flat as a pancake after that, Victoria. What have I done to you?
Vic versus the Hilux.
With a flamethrower.
Yeah, flamethrower.
How did it feel to look him in the eye and call him a brick with ears?
I looked him in the eye for about half a second and then quickly
I'm
looked
going to
away.
dock your pay.
Oh, there we go.
With the flamethrower and the Toyota Hilux, he's still in it, isn't he? Is that
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Oh, that's it. Vic, thank you. Are you okay after all that?
What did you say, Button Boy?
Listen.
I was just asking if you're all right. These three, they seem to push some buttons.
Listen here, you incompetent, overpaid, cooked little unit. Speaking of pushing buttons, why don't you try something new and start pressing the right ones? One more slip up from you and I'm going to jump over that panel and break your fingers one by one.
Oh, Vic!
Oh, bang, there's the smackdown.
Jesus, man.
It's so. It's like Bambi delivering these lines.
It
There's
is.
no danger at all.
These fingers are my tools. You're going to snap them.
Yeah, one by one, watch out.
I reckon you've got it in you, Vic.
How do you think that went well?
That went well. The last one was best, I reckon. It got better. It got better as I went.
Build up.
Yeah. I peaked.
Yeah.
I love you, Salty Vic.
Salty Vic. Here comes Salty Vic. Chrissie, Sam and Brownie. This is the Chrissie, Sam and Brownie podcast.
Today's International Women's Day, and sometimes it gets a bit sort of Valentine's Day-ish. Mm-hmm. You know, bit commercial and weird. So I invite you to go online, internationalwomensday.com, find out what it's about. There's a theme every year. This one is Break the Bias, which, to be honest with you, I don't really know what that means. But I am going to listen to 3 songs today.
Right on.
And really embrace and celebrate my womanness.
Okay.
Because I am an awesome person.
Yeah.
And a good woman. I'm a good woman.
How are you comfortable saying those things out loud?
Well, I've come a long way.
I know that it's supposed to be good for you.
Yeah.
But I could never say those things.
Couldn't
What did you just say?
No, well, it's not true for you.
Bang. Bang.
Stay down.
Well done.
Bang.
Got me.
I'm going to listen to the original and best.
Yes.
But his wisdom bought a paid, yes indeed. Helen, but look at what I've gained. If I had to, what a song.
Very good song.
It is just, it's like the perfect song. I'm a woman.
Helen Reddy, Australian.
Yes.
It's amazing that anthem was sung by an Australian.
Great
In
photo
fact,
on the-
may I offer you a tidbit?
Come on.
From memory, Helen Reddy wrote that song in an apartment on Riversdale Road in the centre of the universe.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Big tidbit.
Are you sure? You sure a woman could have written that song? She wasn't a man.
Back page there on Sun today is a picture
It's
of...
amazing. Good photo, isn't it?
And it's got the lyrics of that song. All written
It
down.
looks like she's her breast is leaking. God, I remember those days.
It does too, actually.
I remember.
Oh, God, you'd wake up and you just have these big circles of milk. You're like, whoa,
I've been there.
hot
Used to have
trot.
them to me on footy trips.
I always
You drank so much you started to
Started
lactate.
coming out.
Yeah.
One night,
Coming out
one night I had 10 Kaluras in milk, and that was, it was the same thing. So I am always amazed when, even like Brownie said about this wonderful picture on the back page of the Herald Sun, but also it's got the lyrics of I Am Woman.
Yeah.
I was so amazed at something like those lyrics are amazing. So it's poetry.
Yes.
But then to have a catchy tune as well. I know that's
I know.
music, popular music in general. But I'm still astounded by
So
it,
am I.
that it can happen.
Always by amazing musicians. I'm like, how do you do that? The other one I'm going to listen to is from my friend Claire Bowditch. See you soon, by the way, Bodo. This is called Woman. Look it up and listen to it. Also amazing lyrics. What a voice. What a woman, Claire Bowditch.
How good.
I just think it's so, I mean, she is one of the greats. And just by coincidence, I'm seeing her on International Women's Day.
Right on.
I mean, Mystic Chrissie strikes again. And last is a new one that we're playing on this very radio station. It's by Emmy Melly. And every time it comes on, I crank it in my car and I sing it from the beginning. I think we've only got the hook, not the beginning.
You want
but
the beginning?
Yeah.
Let's hit it. Oh, this.
It is so great. And the first lyrics, learn them, sing them, mean them.
I am woman, I am fearless, I am sexy, I'm divine, I'm unbeatable, I'm creative, honey, you can get it right.
Yes!
What a tune.
What a tune.
Are you going to learn them, sing them?
Anything I want.
Are you going to learn them and sing them, Brownie?
Well, I'm going to have a crack at it. Yeah. How many verses are there, Christine?
Maybe 3.
That's 3, okay. Yeah, I could do that.
Yes,
Anyway.
John.
I'm capable of that. But hey,
Listen to those 3. Believe every word of them. You are amazing. It's International Women's Day. And I, for one, love you.
Nova. Chrissie Swan, Sam Pang, and Jonathan Brown.
Chrissie's Celebrity Star.
I love these stories where completely unknown bands take on, so we'll call them the David, take on a Goliath, saying that they've stolen pieces of song that nobody's heard of. We've had Dua Lipa this week. And also Ed Sheeran is currently at the centre of a copyright claim at a high court trial. He's turned up in person. My favourite part of this story, I'm going to play you the grabs that are in question, but you know, you can still not take photos in the courtroom. And so the court artists who are, I'm sorry if you are one, the most terrible artists I've ever... Like, you wouldn't make a living at South Bank Markets doing portraits.
That doesn't look like Ed. It looks like Einstein.
I don't know who it looks like, but
Lance
it's not.
Whitnell in his late years.
Like, if they can't get
Definitely
Ed...
Lance Whitnell.
Looks like Ralph Malph from Happy Days. Anyway.
There's a
So
contemporary...
someone's job.
Ralph Malph. He was really cute, actually.
You can marry him.
Anyway, so here is the song is Shape of You.
Mm-hmm.
The bit that has been allegedly borrowed is the bit where it goes, oh, wow, oh, wow, oh, wow. Well, let's get Ed to it. Great part of the song.
Okay.
And a little-known band called, duo called Sam Chokri and Ross O'Donoghue.
Sam and Ross.
Sam and Ross. The
mornings.
great Sam and Ross. Actually, that was almost happening, wasn't it? Anyway,
You silly woman. That is ridiculous
I
from
don't know. It's a predictor here. I'm not Mr. Chrissie for no reason.
So this is the bit.
This is the bit
of Ed.
And then the great Sam and Ross say that they did it first with their song "Oh Why."
Not guilty.
Nah, they get away with that.
What do you
Play
reckon?
Ed's bit.
Other dudes? Not guilty.
Really, Your Honour?
What do you reckon?
Permission to approach the bench?
There's plenty of...
Maybe 50 grand.
Plenty.
Brown paper bag. Go away. Go away, boys.
You're Ed Sheeran's representatives and you're settling. You hear that and you go, all right, let's come up with a number.
It's easier that way.
How good would Brownie have been as a lawyer?
Mate,
Oh,
straight in.
my God.
Decisive. 50 grand. I'll give you 5 minutes, boys.
50 grand
Go and
otherwise.
sort it out. Come back with a yes, or you can piss off. There you go.
Your Honour.
Simple as
It's
that.
an offer they can't refuse.
Want to see what happens in the studio? Check it out on Facebook. Follow Chrissie, Sam and Brownie. Michael Voss, a three-time premiership player and the 1996 Brownlow medalist. And now he's moved over to the Blue Baggers as the new coach of Carlton, who are guaranteed to make the finals in 2022 after their best pre-season ever.
Guaranteed.
Here's Voss.
Michael Voss, welcome to the show.
I don't think I've been introduced like that before. That's new. Yeah, that's new.
Probably won't be introduced like that again. I've got to give you insight here. Every time anything positive is said about the Carlton Football Club, Sam Pang winces because I think it puts the moz on the team. Is that true, Sam?
I just have... Look, we're scarred.
How are you hanging in there, Penny? You're all right? You're good?
I'm hanging in here. We've played one practice match, Michael, and we had a win. And
how did it go? It
and
went well.
According to my friends, there's a chance that we're going through the season undefeated. So that's what you've got to play with. That's what. No, I'm scarred because it feels as though at the start, after 5 rounds for the last 15 years, we've been about 1-4, and the season's over. So that's why I'm scarred, and but there is absolute optimism, and I'm sure that you're feeling optimistic about the season, aren't you, Coach?
No, we are. We have had a pretty good pre-season. Fortunately, we've got some healthy players, so that starts in a good place. But yes, the barrier trials are over, and we get to start the race. So we start from a good position, but at the same time, there's plenty of work ahead of us. And everyone keeps reminding me about Richmond, so can't get too far ahead of that.
Just firstly, has Carlton enjoyed their best pre-season ever?
Well, which team hasn't? Which team hasn't?
Well, we have though, haven't we? This is your best pre-season.
Season of hope is over.
Yes.
Whoa!
Speaking of hope, how do your stress levels cope with the enormous expectation from the fans?
Jeez, Caro.
Jeez, we're getting heavy here, guys. I'd be much prefer telling you New Orleans stories, Brownie.
Yes, absolutely.
Don't worry, we'll get to that, Bossy.
No, look, I'm looking forward to it. So when I started this job, there was always going to be expectations and on what we wanted to be able to do, and I'm looking forward to it. I know there's going to be some ups and downs, but I am looking forward to it.
Brownie, you all right? You're all right over there? I know
nervous?
as your captain.
I'm just listening.
You're a bit nervous.
Well, I just want to know, mate, when you got the job, it's one of there's a lot of famous people that are connected to the Carlton Football Club. So can you peel off some of the names that rang to congratulate you when you did get the top job?
Yes.
Well, very leading question, that Jonathan. But yes, I might have got a phone call from Josh Frydenberg, and
did you call him back?
Yeah, I had to get a couple of phone calls from him to realise who was actually calling. So
Did he send you a link to his GoFundMe account?
yeah, no, fortunately, I got onto it after a couple of calls and managed to be able to ring him back. So, no, that was a bit of a different one. I certainly wasn't expecting that. I thought someone was having a lend to me that he was actually calling. So,
as my kids would say, Kringe.
Just to clarify, Vossy, the federal treasurer rang to congratulate you about your new job, and you got to him after he'd rang the third time. You thought I better get back to him.
I did, and it was my one excuse in all of that was I'd had a couple of phone calls, and I was getting to my messages as promptly as I possibly could, and. It took me a day or so to be able to try and get that one back, but he's been fantastic. He's had a couple of good chats since, and he's been great.
Yeah, no wonder that rebuild of Icon Park's just going a little bit slower than expected.
Hey, Vossy, in the Brisbane days, is it true when you guys used to travel heaps, obviously away games, that Acker would take his own pillow?
He did. I think he might have even taken his own sheet at one stage, I reckon, as well. So
I respect that.
I respect it too, I think.
Yeah, well, let's face it, the hotel rooms are not that flash when it comes to bed sheets, are they? They're a little bit thin and, not quite exactly that comfortable. So I sort of get his reasoning in behind it, but it was slightly unusual. I mean, Acker was on the first travel I ever had with him. We used to room together, and I thought he wasn't going to have a very good day when he opened up the packet of chips and can of Coke at about 2 o'clock in the morning and started munching away at the minibar. So, needless to say, I had a few things that were a bit different.
I've got a couple of quick ones, Vossy. When you took the job, did you look at the team and think, I'm actually in Carlton's best 22? No? I'm just asking. The other one is, do you watch On the Couch?
I better say yes because the big fella's sitting there, but not as often as I'd like.
No.
That's a no.
That's a no.
That's a no. Yeah,
do you watch Front Bar?
A bit flat.
No, that's a no as well.
Whoa! What do you watch?
Not much. Not much.
So just old highlights of yourself.
There's a couple of series going around. Queen of the South.
What series?
South, pretty good series at the moment. That goes okay. So, no, sort of punched through the Netflix series.
What was it? Queen of
the South.
Queen of the South.
Yeah, if you haven't heard that one before, it's a Mexican drug cartel. It's worthwhile watch. So I'm up to about season 4. So for those who haven't seen it, it might be one to tune into.
Good on you, Vossy.
Just to finish off, we were up in Mildura last weekend, Vossy, and Sam and myself got up and did told a couple of stories, and Dino came and supported us, did the auction. But on the Sunday morning, Sam delighted us with a Lee Matthews walk, didn't he, Dino? Can you describe it?
Sam Pang is one of the most underrated physical comedians in this country.
I could not agree
And
more.
we're walking down the river, and out of nowhere, apropos of nothing, Pangy goes, "Hey, watch this. I can walk exactly like Lee Matthews." And we were like, what the hell are you talking about?
Brownie is uniquely placed to confirm or deny these allegations. Can Sam Pang walk just like Lee?
It was unbelievable. I thought Lee was walking down the banks of the Murray
Proud
River.
of you.
Unbelievable.
Vossy, you're proud? That's what you support. That's the level of support. Yes.
I don't know whether I'm more concerned that you're walking like Lee Matthews or you've practiced that walk to walk like Lee Matthews.
Mate, you had done a lot of practice,
Mate, it's in their hands, Brownie. They sashay.
Do you use a mirror for it?
How many times in the mirror did you use to actually try and get that right? How many times?
4 hours straight. I thought as the coach of my football club that you'd be impressed with the level of preparation. Preparation met opportunity, Vossy, last week in Mildura, and I just brought it out. But it's a very distinctive...
Where were the fingers pointing, Payne?
They were going side to side,
Yes.
kind of
across his body.
across my body.
Straight back?
Yeah, straight back. And I think you would have had flashbacks to just standing there at 3/4 time as the great man rolled it.
How short was the gate? How short was your walking?
Yeah, little steps. Jeez, look at you. Yeah.
Oh, he knows, absolutely.
And I'd drawn on a grey moustache as well. Vossy, I'd really gone all the way. Mate, I wanted to say, I know you're a great premiership teammate of Brownie, but now you're Carlton's coach, and so from all Carlton supporters, including Josh Frydenberg, mate, good luck. We're right behind you.
No, thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks, mate.
carltonfc.com.au/membership to join Get Behind the Blue.
Chrissie, Sam, and Brownie.
The podcast.
Hey, someone's in the studio.
Yes.
We're making muffins.
That's right. For International Women's Day.
Now, I'm going to be singing that all day now.
Tony Martin.
Yeah.
Welcome, Tony Martin.
Good morning.
Yeah, thanks for using my name because I was just called an irritating beanpole by Salty Vic in the corridor.
She's not hot.
She's on a warpath today.
That wasn't just one segment. She's
So naughty.
She's really International Women's Day means different things to different people.
Well, it is a big day, and there's a lot going on in the
Yes,
world at
certainly
the
is.
moment. We seem to have forgotten about COVID-19.
Oh, it's still around.
Have you still avoided it, Tina?
I've managed to avoid, and Sam, I think you've managed to avoid. He's constantly showing me his negative test results.
Yes.
From 2 weeks ago. But anyway, it doesn't matter.
He's mad for the rat.
But it's been making me reminisce about the early days. Remember the early days of the pandemic?
Oh, God, I try not to.
When we didn't know what was going on, when you get into your car with a mask and you'd be driving along going, am I supposed to have this on in the car? Are we meant to be wearing this in the car? Can the droplets get into the vehicle?
Oh, God.
The police car would go past, you would quickly put the mask on. Now you're just standing in cold, someone has a coughing fit next to you, you go, oh, well, that's probably fine.
I tell you when it's not fine. I went to Baldwin Cinemas. And
Oh, yes.
with respect to everybody who goes there.
No, I love the Baldwin Cinemas.
They're very old.
Yes, they are.
particularly on Tuesdays.
Right.
And there was a full cinema, not one empty seat.
Right.
And also nobody under about 75 years old. And understandably, that's the hitting zone where they're very afraid of COVID-19.
They're sitting there going, is this the best exotic Marigold Hotel 3?
Yes, I know. But they're very nervous of catching it.
Sure.
And I was eating popcorn and you know the little sort of cellophane bits in the popcorn? It got caught in my... You know how it gets caught in your throat sometimes? And I was like, oh my God.
Coughing.
So I have some water. It doesn't go away. And then I had this big coughing fit.
Yes.
Every set of bifocals were on me in the cinema.
I thought you were going to wipe them out.
Yes, they did. And I was going, it's just popcorn. I've just got popcorn. And then they didn't believe me. There was tutting. 2 people moved seats. And I just thought, I'm going to have to do the right thing here. And I left the movie. I left the cinema over popcorn.
And there was 20 fatalities the next week.
Well, no, I didn't have it. I'm triple vaxxed.
And you weren't able to see...
It was absolutely popcorn.
So you missed the latest Judi Dench, Maggie Smith team up. My girlfriend had a non-COVID coughing fit on a tram and everyone got off the tram.
Yeah.
Just swarmed off and you're going, this is the way to get the best seat.
Yeah, that's true.
You can clear a room.
That's a good idea.
I remember that on the train. I caught the train heaps to work in the first lockdown last year. No, was that no?
2 years ago.
2 years ago.
2 years ago, almost to the day.
I reckon I caught the train 20 times, or even 18 times. I had my own carriage.
Which is exactly what you
That's
like.
how I roll, absolutely.
You've managed to avoid it, Tone, haven't you?
Yes, I have. And the other things I've forgotten about the early days of COVID is remember there was sort of people getting the blame for spreading it. There'd be like, oh, those removalists came down. And do you remember in Sydney?
Oh, no, the original was the security guard that was bonking overseas guests.
That's right.
Remember?
But then in New South Wales... they had a band called Nothing Too Serious. Do you remember that?
No.
It was a cover band who were playing leagues clubs and they were accused of spreading the virus.
Nothing Too Serious. Was it a cover? Was it an Ice House cover band?
That was the question. See, that's the thing, because I remember them on the news.
Because they had that song, Nothing Too Serious.
And somebody said, how do you feel about being accused of spreading, a pandemic? And they've gone, oh, well, what can you do? And then someone said, are you an Icehouse cover band? The guy really arced up. He's going, no, we're not an Icehouse cover band. People have got to stop spreading this misinformation. People have forgotten that. But here's something I remember from the early days. Do you remember when there was obviously panic buying and people were hoarding toilet paper, and you see people on the...
Toilet paper and flour, wasn't it?
You see on the news, you see someone would have an entirely Quilton-lined spare room in their house. I remember thinking that'd be all acoustically perfect. Be great to record a podcast in there. And we were just laughing at people who were panic buying. But then, do you remember there was a 24-hour period where we weren't sure if bottle shops were included? Remember that?
Yeah, I do.
And at our house, we ran to the car and drove through 7 sets of red lights to get to Dan Murphy's.
Yes.
And what we did is we got boxes of bottles and we went up to the counter, and there was a snaking queue of people at the Dan Murphy's. And we got in what we thought was the end of the queue, but it was actually sort of an elbow of the queue. Oh. And without realising, we'd barged in. And then I just heard a voice go, no, you don't do that. No, you don't just barge in like that. And I've looked around, and you know who it was?
Who was it?
Harold from Neighbours.
You're joking.
Harold from Neighbours, with quite a few boxes stacked up, I will say that. And just getting a telling off from Harold for barging into the queue.
The great Ian Smith, I believe, is his name.
He's basically torn you a new one.
I think this is the terrible thing. In the middle of it, I think I may have referred to him as Harold.
That's great.
Which is probably...
Was he in character? I know you called him Harold, but was there much difference between Harold and Ian?
Well, I could only just see his face peering around from the boxes.
Didn't he know who you were?
I don't know, because there was an incident. I remember we had a run-in on The Late Show 30 years ago with Harold with Ian Smith.
Oh.
Because we overdubbed his voice on a... This is way back in history. We did a thing called The Olden Days. We took an old... Aussie gold mining drama from the 1970s, and we put a new voice track on it.
Oh, amazing.
And Ian was unimpressed.
It's a really easy mistake to make.
I like the idea that both of you are just standing there and kind of both giving the whole scent of, do you know who I am? Both of you, do you know who I am?
Yeah.
No? Do you know who you are?
Like two cats in an alleyway at midnight.
Because he's looking at me and I'm thinking, I did your voice 30 years ago and I think you might have threatened to sue me.
That's fantastic.
Although I have to say, he did, when it took off and became popular, he called back and said, sorry about that, go for your life.
That's good. Did he do the same for judging you on your skipping the queue?
No, he didn't say anything, but I remember looking at the stack he had with him going, what does Harold know that we don't know?
Ian. His name's Ian.
Is he an old drunk, is he?
He's going, I did not suggest that.
It was lockdown.
He knew lockdown was coming.
Listen to Sizzletown. Tony
Never said
Martin's
that.
here back in a second.
Do you want to see what this looks like? Well, get the visuals on Instagram. Follow Chrissie, Sam and Brownie.
Yes, I've calmed down. There's no more Ian Smith defamation to come. I'm feeling in a very spiritual mood. I went to the cafe where I normally get some coffee on the way here, and they have like a stack of Herald Suns, and I like to just go through the letters page and find things to read out.
The best. I've got to start doing that again. Thanks for the reminder.
You have to do the voice, but there was no papers there at all. Everyone had taken them, and they had a copy of the Bible in the cafe. And I went, it's interesting. I've never actually picked up the Bible. I've never read the Bible. And I thought, haven't got much time. I'll just cut to the ending to see what the ending of the Bible is. You know what the last words of the Bible are?
What are they?
T's and C's apply. I wouldn't have thought that. Very strange. Moving on. What else is happening?
Because I went to a Catholic school and the Bible.
What a run up.
Yeah. None of that happened. I just wanted to get to that joke.
Fantastic. Did it happen? Oh, none of it happened. Oh, well, I'll stop. I'll stop talking about the paper quality because I was going to talk about the paper quality.
Oh, yes, that's very true. Beautiful.
It's like onion skin.
Yeah, that's right.
You could probably roll joints out of it.
You absolutely could.
Very similar.
I'm sure that would be illegal.
Illegal and not cool.
The Book of John was very good to you, Dino.
Did you read
the younger years?
Did you have to read the Bible, Brownie?
Well, you had it there. I guess you did religion at school. I can't remember reading many verses.
Oh, you would have gone straight to the Song of Songs, which had all the dirty stuff in it.
Is there blue limericks in the...
Yeah, there's blue limericks.
No, that's what
your breasts are like a pair of flying gazelles or something. Oh, we went straight to that.
I don't think they... don't think they give them the Bible to read. I think they get life
Song
and
of
football
songs.
now.
Yes,
is what
of course they do. It's a textbook.
I was a book of Corinthians, man.
Scams. Can we just talk scams briefly?
Absolutely.
I went into the bank because, as you know, I still have a passbook account, keeping the tellers in work. That's what I'm doing. And I was standing there at the counter.
You've been given a deadline?
To get rid of it. No, they just wait until we all die. That's how it works. They're not giving out new
Jeez,
passbook
they'd be close.
accounts.
They'd be close.
Send Swanee in there on a coughing fit.
Yeah, clear them out.
Have they gently, hinted it might be time to move on to something else?
There is a lot of that.
Tony,
but,
do they still check? One of my greatest moments when the passbooks were around was they would put your passbook with your invisible
the
signature.
black they still have
under
the black light.
under the blue light.
They
under
still
the black
have
light.
the signature.
And
then,
they check it?
And when you get a new passport...
Remember that?
They give you the little piece of paper to sign on.
Wow.
Jack
And
Charles
then-
has no idea what we're talking about, do you?
It's
Do you?
just
Do
confused.
you have any idea?
Nah. But anyway, we're not here to discuss
No.
ancient banking techniques.
No, that's true.
I'm standing at the counter. And
How is
while-
your abacus?
It's going well. I take it with me to the bank. And while I'm waiting, there's a little booklet there called, and it's put out by the government, and it's the Little Black Book of Scams. Have you seen that?
No.
It's a free booklet, and it just lists all the scams. So I'm going through it, and I've gone, yeah, I know that one, the phone scam, the phishing scam, the identity theft. So I put the book down. Woman behind the counter, quite an old woman, said, "Oh, so you're not worried about the scams then?" And I've gone, no, I know all those scams. She goes, "What about the one where two people come to your house dressed as policemen? Have you had that one yet?" Okay, that's a very specific scam. Okay, no, I haven't had. Is that common? And she goes, "I know two people who have had that happen." Going, really? Is that? Are you sure they weren't strippers? That's the thing.
Were they carrying a ghetto blaster when they arrived? See, this is why you can't just go to the ATM, because you miss out on those human interactions.
You don't know about the scam where two people dressed as policemen and another one dressed as a red Indian, a motorcycle cop, and a member of the armed forces come to your house.
Oh, sorry, I forgot also a construction worker's there in it as well.
Sounds like, by the way, at the end of her shift, she goes straight to Baldwin Cinema for
Yes,
to catch the,
absolutely.
Catch the 5 o'clock.
What's happening with Sizzletown?
Sizzletown, there's a new episode came out last Thursday.
Oh, my God.
And I went through it to find something to play on the show, and there was nothing fit for broadcast. I'm
Fabulous.
afraid.
Perfect.
It's a little bit. It has its mind in the gutter. The
Wow.
latest episode of
Perfection.
Sizzletown. I can't control what the callers are saying.
Hey, I asked this. I don't ask this enough. Can you join in at any point if someone's new to Sizzletown? Can they join in at any point?
I think they can, because what I'm told by people is that it takes 2 or 3 episodes to get going. So just jump in anywhere.
They're
That's what
excellent.
I would say.
They're so good.
Love you, mate.
Thanks, guys.
See you, Tony.
This is the Chrissie, Sam and Brownie podcast.
One man, many questions.
I want to know why cyclists don't pay registration. Why do some banks charge you for insufficient funds when they know there's not sufficient funds?
I was just wondering who you have tipped to win the grand final this year.
Have all the answers.
I run on my face.
Ask Brownie.
The home of great questions and average answers. It's Ask Brownie.
I wouldn't have thought the greatest 3 examples of Ask Brownie, by the way, those 3, they all sound like 3AW listeners. Yeah, man. Who's going to win the grand final?
Bit flat.
Geez, the bank's no good, and those cyclists, we got to get rid of them.
That's very
Settle down.
true.
Brownie, you got more gears than that. Got more layers.
I'm a fan of cyclists. I remember on a training ride once, our guest earlier on in the show, Michael Voss, was a man, me and him were out on a training ride, and a fella in a ute tried to run Vossy off the road.
On purpose?
Absolutely. So we whacked the car, and then the guy pulled over.
And what did Vossy do?
There was about to be an altercation, so I said to Vossy, because those bike shoes are real slippery, they've got the cleats on them. I said, mate, take your shoes off. Just so in case we're getting the dust up, we're not slipping and sliding all over the road.
Did the guy get less tough once he saw it was Vossy?
Yeah, he got out of the car and walked around, and we got off our bikes, and it's fair to say he got back in the car pretty quickly and drove away.
You didn't want to get beaten up by a man wearing lycra?
I know.
But
I think I might have the pink lycra on that day too.
What a menacing command. Take your shoes off.
Yes.
You know.
Well, I didn't want to be like Stephen Bradbury, slipping and sliding all over the road, Swanee. Anyway, there you go. True
Love
story.
to see it.
Jamie, what's the question, old friend?
Love the show, everyone. It's a bit of a 3AW question, so Sam will like this. But just looking at Brownie's career, and I know he's sort of from down the coast and everything. How many premierships would Geelong have won? How much better would Tom Hawkins be? And how many would Brisbane have lost had he went to Geelong instead of Brisbane?
So just for some clarification, you're from down that way. You're under 18s. Who'd you play for?
That's right. I played for Geelong.
Geelong.
I did play for Geelong.
Did they look at you? Did Geelong ever talk to you?
Idiots. No, they didn't. I was father-son, though, to Brisbane, so that's why. So, unfairly. They've got a great record, Geelong, for recruiting players.
Would you have liked to have stayed down there, stayed close to home, yeah, man, with the rest of the
Not really.
rest of the hillbillies down
Not
there?
really. I was happy to get away. It was like going to Las Vegas when you arrived in Brisbane in the late 90s. They probably would have won 10 flags, Jamie.
10?
I don't want to be overly modest.
Face.
So in 15 years, your 15-year career, if you played with Geelong, you would have won 10 flags.
Probably would have won 10.
Okay, cool.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jamie. You could win first class and 50K. To Lisa in Melton, what's your question?
I love Tom Hawkins, though.
Talisa.
Hi.
Hi, Talisa. You've got a beautiful name, Talisa. What's your question?
Why do rainbows go further away from us when we're close to it?
Rainbows get further away
Can
when we
you
walk closer to it.
can
Is
you
that
get
what the
Can
question
you get
is?
Talisa to ask it again?
Yeah.
Is that all right?
Yeah.
Talisa,
Go
what-
again, Talisa.
Why do rainbows go further away from us when we're closer to it?
I didn't hear it that time. I just one more time, Talisa.
When you try to get closer to a rainbow,
Yeah.
why does it go further away from
It's
you?
a great question,
I
Talisa.
love the energy, Talisa, too.
And I love how she rephrased it.
Oh, yeah, she did too.
Yeah.
A little bit
Got
of
a big
venom in the last
future,
one.
Talisa.
I wouldn't ask one. I wouldn't ask
No,
again. Dana.
no,
Hey,
no.
yeah, so
Talisa, one more time. Can you just ask the question one more time?
Why, when you go closer to a rainbow, it goes further away from you?
why do you get closer when you get closer to a rainbow, Brownie? Talisa wants to know, does it get further away from you? And she wants to know now.
No, she does.
No, it's
Imagine her at the end of a class. The teacher would be worn out.
a big day at school ahead for Talisa.
I reckon a rainbow is a mirage, isn't it? So I guess the only thing you could say is if you walk closer to the horizon, you don't get any closer to the horizon. It keeps moving backwards. So I would have thought a rainbow is the same thing.
It's a very difficult question, Talisa.
Because a rainbow is a mirage. It's just a mirage of light. So you don't get any closer to light, do we?
You're saying that you can never, as you can never walk, you can never reach a rainbow. It's like a ship just floating in the ocean that will never
Well,
dock.
just like the horizon, you can never reach the horizon.
What do you think
I
of
would
that?
have thought it's a similar principle.
What do you think of that answer, Talisa?
Fair answer.
Fair answer.
Fair answer.
Fair is the
And
ruling.
Great question.
You've won a Space Talk Adventurer watch, mate. It's a watch, a GPS tracker, a phone, and a camera all in one. The Space Talk Adventurer watch keeps families connected. How good?
What do you think of that?
Thank you.
Love her. Love her.
She's a beauty.
She's a cracker. Well
Thanks,
done.
Mum. Mum was in the
Good on you,
background
Talisa.
guiding her nicely.
Can I tell you, I've got a very noisy child at home as well. Talisa's mum, if you're listening, here is a tip from me to you. Buy these little earplugs and you put them in and it just dulls it down. It's like your head is underwater, so you can deal with everything. You can hear everything still, but it's not that jarring.
Is parenting like having your head underwater?
It is when you've got the earplugs
I
in.
thought Talisa had a beautiful voice.
No,
And it
just
was
a bit
wonderful.
loud, just the volume.
Well,
was-
listen, if you want to be mean to the kids, that's up to you. I think they're an integral part of our show, and I love talking to them.
Do you?
Yeah, I do.
Tanana Goon. It's Kate, everyone. Kate.
Hi guys, how are we?
Kate, how are you?
Yeah, good, thank you.
Good.
So, Brownie, what I want to know is, when you eat asparagus, why does your wee smell?
Well, as a very accomplished asparagus farmer.
Are they going all right?
No,
Better than your avocados?
We're a bit out of season at the moment, Sam.
Right.
But I was gardening the asparagus yesterday, just having a close look at them. So I am well versed in the smell of asparagus. It's got something to do with the acid
May I offer you a
and
tidbit?
the way they break
Please.
An asparagus-related tidbit. Not everybody has smelly wee when it comes to asparagus. Only 2 out of 3 people
Really?
have
That's
it.
a great tidbit. Why?
I don't know. And it's the same with coriander. Not everybody, those people that hate coriander, it tastes like soap to them, actual
Yeah,
soap.
that's me.
Is that you? Right, yeah. It tastes great to me. But it's, 2
What's
out
it
of 3.
taste like to you?
Like a delicious herb.
Yep.
Yeah, not like soap.
Oh, no.
Is asparagus a diuretic, and what is a diuretic?
Diuretic makes you wee.
Makes you do a wee.
Makes you wee. But it comes out of sulphur, so when it breaks down, it comes out of sulphur,
it's actually
which
instant,
smells.
isn't it? It's instant.
Absolutely.
Like I have asparagus, and then within minutes, if I go to the toilet, it's full asparagus.
There you go, Kate.
It's hard growing,
Well,
there you go, Kate.
No, but why is it again? Acid.
It's the acid in asparagus. The way when it breaks down, it comes out smelling like it is sulphur. It lets off a sulphur smell.
So maybe those people that have the smelly wee aren't capable of breaking down the sulphur, and those
Probably.
that don't. Yeah.
Probably.
Katie, you satisfied?
Yeah, that was good.
They're very hard growing asparagus. I've just planted a veggie garden bed over an old asparagus bed. And it's 1/2 metre high, and the old asparagus, which I round upped, are now growing through this garden bed.
Nerd alert! Ever wondered what happens in the studio? Check out Chrissie, Sam and Brownie on Instagram.
Good morning, Melbourne. Chrissie, Sam and Brownie on Over 100. It's Happy International Women's Day.
Absolutely, and that begins some tropical stuff just to finish, to give you a sense of the day as it's the start of the day. And,
How about some tropical stuff?
How about it?
So in this year's International Women's Day theme is Break the Bias. Swanee had some cracking tunes earlier on, including one from the great Helen.
The lyrics
run
in
through
this
walls.
song are like unbelievable. I mean, sad that they still apply 400 years after it was written.
The day where you celebrate women's achievement. It's a fine line, isn't it, about how one
Here we
day
go.
a year. No,
Oh,
I was backing you up about the tokenistic aspect of just this one day. But if you want more information, internationalwomensday.com. There might be, information there on how to donate to the many great charities and initiatives that celebrate women's achievement. Shane Warne's family have issued heartfelt tributes. Mm-hmm. They're very, very sad.
very sad.
The Lord Mayor, Sally Capp, was she in here last week?
Week before.
I wasn't here, I don't think. Was that when I was over?
Yeah, it might have been when you were in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
God.
She's got COVID.
What?
Oh, has she?
Yes. She tweeted yesterday, it takes a lot to keep me out of the city, but yesterday I tested positive for COVID, so I'm isolating, working from home, and hope to be back in town for Moomba. What's the latest with Moomba? Have you talking to the king lately, Dina?
Well, I don't want to do Birdman, but if Hitchy asks me, I'll suit up and jump into the damn Yarra.
That'd be funny, mate. I'd go to Birdman if you're in that.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely, we'd be there, mate.
I've always dreamed of watching someone do Birdman. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Someone you know.
Yeah, someone I know.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to do it myself.
I've seen Jimmy Giggle do it.
Did he try and fly? Or
Yeah, of course. He really gave it his all. Have you got in your diary lunch with the King of Moomba?
Oh, yeah.
It is in your diary?
The king and the prince and the Swanee.
You and Fifi box head to head in the Birdman.
I'll take on box.
Fifi's the queen. I don't know if she would.
No, the
she's
Queen
not gonna
doesn't
jump
do
off.
it. No.
Ah.
In fact, none of the monarchs
Fev's doing
have ever
it.
done it.
Fev's doing it.
Well, that's the
you and
tradition.
Fev,
There you
head to
go.
head. There you go.
That's the tradition that Jimmy Giggle started.
Like, honestly, how can that not be a radio stunt?
Well, that's the good
match
point. So
made
what
in
they're
heaven.
doing, see Fifi, over there, Fifi is the queen, and Fev is getting behind her by doing the Birdman.
Oh, yeah, but he's not even the king. They
No,
can't have
Fifi's
Hitch
the queen.
doing it.
Also, actually, so that makes me, when you were the queen, one of us should have done that.
Yes, but Jimmy Giggle did it. The monarch did it.
Jimmy Giggles.
Ash's ex, Jimmy
Ash's
Giggle.
ex.
What?
Ash's ex-husband.
Is that right?
Ex-husband.
Yeah.
They were married for 4 years.
4 years, few kids as well.
Yeah.
You could have been.
Week on, week off, they
You could have
agreed
been.
to.
You could have been Mrs. Giggle.
I was Mrs. Giggle, didn't you hear? We were
Yeah.
married for 4 years.
Whoa, it's
Stay down,
salty.
Kate.
Very
That's International Women's Day. You take it.
salty ash.
Yeah.
No, don't
I think Fifi's got a representative. She's the queen. Fev's her representative.
Absolutely.
And now Hitch needs a representative. It's Dino, his son.
I'll fly too, don't you worry.
You know, you'll be flying all right. Jack, why would you put Jack, helps me with tropical stuff. I just explain yourself here.
What have I done?
Why would you put Gold Coast warms up for round one with a comfortable win over Geelong?
Because it's footy news. We live in Melbourne, bro.
And they live in... But it's
I know.
Gold Coast.
I didn't even know there was a game on last
Come on,
night.
bro.
Oh, that's a Fox Footy pundit who didn't even know there was a game on last night.
Well, he needs to be better, doesn't he?
Well, that is true.
Oh, yeah, just keeping your best horses fresh. For
Hey,
the real
here's some
stuff.
football news, though, that you'll like. Max Gawn, it's official, will captain the D's again this year.
Of course.
I wouldn't have thought there's much.
Would have been a bit stiff.
Imagine that.
Getting rolled in the leadership vote
Listen,
after
mate.
being a
Is
premiership
that
captain.
really a headline? That is absurd.
Imagine that. They said, listen, Maxie, we know you're a premiership captain, but we really feel like we should have won the grand final by more. We're gonna move on.
We're going to give Christian Petrarca a go.
Yeah.
Oh, track.
He was a lot better that day.
Maxie will captain the Demons for the third season in a row after he assumed the role outright 2 years ago, succeeding. And Jack Viney will be the vice captain again. Nathan Jones was the last. How was he on Friday?
Beautiful.
No, that's not what I heard. I
No.
heard he had a really bad time.
No, he had a beautiful time, and I had him in my cone of silence, which was lovely.
Yeah,
Just
so it was good.
love him.
It was good. He's
The
a
last
ripper.
one, I'm not sure here if
He
it's
just
actually.
radiates goodness.
He's in the Carlton draft this year too, Swanee. He'll be playing for a local footy club.
When he
He's
came-
in magnificent shape.
When he
think
came
there's-
out of the cone, there was lipstick all smeared.
Why did you
all
do it in
over
the
him,
cone?
and a ripped
Yeah.
shirt.
I think there's a sadness there. I think there's a secret
In him or me.
with him. There's no secret with you. We know what you want to do.
No, I was very respectful. I started it with that I wanted him to understand that I was not objectifying him.
She was in a straitjacket.
Finally,
He had a
apparently-
guard dog with him.
I'm not sure if this is news or not, but apparently the blue wiggle, Anthony, and
The hot one.
the purple. Oh, they're all hot. the blue wiggle, Anthony, and the purple wiggle, Lockie. They don't follow each other on.
Oh, no.
Instagram.
Oh,
that's big
this is
news.
the undoing.
I'm glad I waited till 9:01 for that.
That is
Well,
that is huge news.
That is big news.
Is
Do
it?
you know more? Oh,
it's-
Jack's gone.
Jack's gone.
That is huge.
big.
We're going to have to talk about it tomorrow. That's big.
So there's a split.
No,
You
I
think
just
potential
listen. That's
split?
all. That's all I know.
Yes.
Listen, it's breaking news. That's all I've got. All right. I don't know the
Well, we need to
details.
do a deep dive on
Maybe
that.
one of them doesn't use Instagram much.
Nah,
or he
It
does.
could be
doesn't matter.
absolutely. It could
Could
be
be
a
innocent.
technical.
No,
It could be innocent.
no, because if they're not using Instagram much or someone is running their account, then they would definitely follow each other.
Blood feud.
Yep.
Yeah,
Blood feud.
They're both going to be red wiggles at the end of it.
Yes.
They're going to be covered in blood after they go to war. Anyway, it's
Just a
all
massacre,
fine.
the Red Wiggles wedding.
Chrissie, Sam and Brownie. Ripper Show will be back tomorrow. Chrissie, Sam and Brownie. Oh, unless it's a weekend. In over 100.